Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Saturday as we're starting to see hesitancy at this $49,700 resistance level. We have yet to see a true decisive break of this level, just forming a higher high so far. And I talked about this yesterday that if Bitcoin is not going to see a decisive break, it's a really concerning sign if we get below 49,700 because now we are back in a range with a support of 44,800. We've yet to also see Bitcoin slow down to the point where it's actually seeing weakness at 49,700. So what that means is we have to go into the smaller time frames. The daily time frame is just not going to give us enough hits. We had an indecision candle yesterday. And so when we look at what's happening to the 4-hour chart, notice how we're not necessarily seeing this sort of reject 49,700, but we're also not seeing show strength. Now, the interesting thing about this, I think, is that there is some rising buy volume, and that is causing the new highs that we're seeing here above 50,000 US dollars. So that's a positive thing. We want to see some volume. We're not seeing sellers here, and we are maintaining ourselves above the previous weekly open at 49,300. So this to me says that, of course, having a cup of coffee here tells us it's not the final destination for Bitcoin. It's trying to find some higher price levels. So the likelihood of us breaking out to that $54,000 level, which is the midpoint of this channel where the next target is 58,000 US dollars, becomes more likely. And that's the positive thing that I want to talk about today, because here's the two ways this is going to play out. We're either going to see this push up, and once we push up, I'm expecting some resistance towards 54,000. We get to 54,000, the next play that's going to be the healthiest price action for Bitcoin, and the schematics we want to see is for 49,700 to now turn into a support rather than a resistance level. Now, the other way this could potentially play out is if we start to see the bears push the price below the previous weekly open at 49,300. Now we have the weekly open below, the monthly open, the 200-day moving average, but more importantly, the $44,800 level. And if we get to the $44,800 level, the problem with that is the bears would put us below the 200-day moving average, now giving Bitcoin the opportunity to even come down to the 50-day moving average, which is inside of the range that takes us to 41,950. So the early signs of this is going to be the previous weekly open at 49,300 showing weakness. But up until that point, there is that potential for the upside here with Bitcoin. Now, what we really want to monitor is what's happening to Ethereum. That's going to lead some of the altcoins, but more importantly, Ethereum being more of an isolated asset now, not necessarily going to be considered an altcoin. It's showing that it wants to stay in this channel, where in the past, it's been a very fair value for Ethereum to be inside of this channel. I think that if Bitcoin stays above 44,800, there is still a chance Ethereum could see some new all-time highs, but we need to conquer 39.59. That is the resistance right now. And then from there, we have the all-time high at 43.73. So we can get above 39.59. We can expect the test of the previous all-time high for Ethereum. Now, if Bitcoin does start to see weakness at 49,700, gets below the previous weekly open at 49,300, Ethereum may push itself below this channel again, where in the past, this has been a great place to buy Ethereum because we've always come back into this channel from coming below this channel. And so it's sort of acted as a level where it's been a good price to get into Ethereum anytime it's below this channel. And so that would leave Ethereum inside of the range with a support of 34.54. And so Ethereum is in a good place for sure. The fact of that, we've got 1 and 2 support levels here down to the 34.54 level. We're currently sitting at 38.45. Gives Ethereum the upper hand here. And that's really happening because of this Ethereum to Bitcoin chart showing strength. And so we want to monitor this. We're seeing some higher highs. This could be a bearish flag that could break down. And that would just be the previous highs that Ethereum to the Bitcoin saw. And it wouldn't really necessarily have given Ethereum any sort of special characteristics with this move to the upside. But if we start to break to newer highs, we get to 86,000 Satoshis. Now we're talking about a potential, I wouldn't say flip yet, but a potential for Ethereum to certainly be isolated from the altcoin market. And then we would really want to monitor the Ethereum dominance chart, which is testing some previous highs, currently sitting at that 20% dominance level. While we look at the altcoins outside of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Tether, it's not necessarily seeing as much strength as Ethereum. So this factors in Cardano, Solana, all of those other altcoins, which are just not necessarily as strong as Ethereum right now. So we're not really going to get much indicators from the dominance levels until Bitcoin really decides to move. And then we can start monitoring the Bitcoin dominance and so forth. But Bitcoin dominance has yet to form any further lows. We want to monitor this. Is this going to reverse here soon or not? And I think that's going to be dependent on Bitcoin's price action. And then traditional markets, of course, are closed, but we will cover traditional markets coming into Sunday when futures markets open tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. And with that, until next time, snipers out.